1510 and 105.3 FM.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Health Futures, and I'm your host, Bob Roth, and it is Friday, September 29th, the last Friday of the month. And if you're just tuning in for the very first time, Health Futures is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And I've been privileged to bring this show to you, our listening audience, for the last 4.5 years. And how do I do this? I bring extraordinary guests to the table to talk about the issues, some of the solutions, and some of the challenges that we deal with every single day in our community. And I host this show because I care, and my family cares. We own a home care agency here in town. We're in our 24th year, and what we do is we provide care into the home for a lot of our aging adult population. You know, 9 out of 10 people surveyed, 65 and older, would like to age in place, and not everybody can. And if you can age in place, Cypress is a great option for you. We're an employer-based agency, and an employer means that we have employees. And the greatest thing about having an employer-based agency is that we do all the background checks. We completely vet out every caregiver that is employed by us. Not only do they have to have a heart and be compassionate and want to make a difference in someone's life, they really can't have a past. On top of which, they need to have first aid, CPR training. They need to be able to test negative on TB, and they have to have caregiving experience. And if they don't, we have this incredible caregiver training lab, and we can teach people to be those servants that enable our older adult population to age successfully in place. The most important thing is we're looking for heart. And I'm going to make an appeal right now because we are in really our season here in Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix metropolitan area. This is the time of year where a lot of the snowbirds come back. The demand increases, and we need people. We need caregivers. We need to really get people engaged in this service and make a difference in these people's lives. So if you or someone you know, if you have a family member, you have a neighbor, friend, an acquaintance that has a caring spirit and wants to make a difference in someone's life, have them call Cypress Home Care, 602-264-8009. They can work for as little hours as they want or as many hours as they want because the need is definitely out there. As I said at the top of the show, our show is made because I bring extraordinary guests, and I'm bringing back to the show 1 week later Dr. Babak Nayeri. Dr. Babak Nayeri is the Director of Healthy Aging at the Arizona Department of Health Services. He's also a clinical associate professor at University of Arizona College of Medicine, and he is the chairman of the Attorney General's Health Care Committee. And you and I got to know one another because we're on the task force against senior abuse. We came together probably about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. Too much time to really know. And it's really a pleasure to have you back here today. And today I want to pick up on what we left off last week, and that's talking about fall prevention. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob, and good afternoon to your wonderful audience here in Arizona and Scottsdale. It's a pleasure being back here. Wow, time flies.
Time does fly.
Yes, you've been in this show for 4.5 years.
4.5 years. So I want to take a moment and introduce the guest directly to your right, to my left. And, you know, Cole Marvin is sitting in that seat. And Cole was a guest on my show back in April 8th of 2016. He is the executive director for a continuing care retirement community. They call them CCRCs. And what is a CCRC? CCRC has independent living. They have assisted living. They also have skilled nursing. And I believe yours has a memory care unit, right? Or
Yes, that is correct, Bob. We do. We have 24 apartments dedicated to caring for folks that have memory impairment.
Memory impairment. Perfect. So the name of his community is Friendship Village of Tempe. And Cole Marvin and I have known one another for over 10 years. And he is a living example of somebody that worked up from the bottom up, and he is the leader of that community, one of the premier communities here in the state of Arizona and in the metropolitan Phoenix area. Well, welcome to the show, Cole.
Thanks, Bob. It's great to be back, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate you being here. So, Babak, I'm going to pivot over to you. So let's talk about fall prevention. We just barely scratched the surface, and we devoted a show to it. But, I think the key is that word, the optimum word, prevention. It is something that is preventable. And look what it does to our community and to our citizens of our community.
Yes, and I want to pick up on something that you mentioned in your appeal to the public for people that you're looking for, people with heart. So that triggered something for me to share with you and the audience, that heart health is of utmost importance, as well as brain health. So physical, mental, as well as spiritual, social health is pivotal to longevity and quality of life as we age. We know that more people are aging around the world. It is not a problem or a challenge that is particular to United States, but around the globe. But here in Arizona, we are fortunate to have more older adults, aging people, migrating to Arizona. And it's going to be a growing challenge for us because we're going to have more people over the age of 80 and plus in just around the corner. And the older people get, the higher the risk of fall and slips and falls and therefore injuries.
Exactly. And I want to pick up on what you said about hearts. When you look at the leading causes of death, still number one, heart attacks, heart disease. I had the pleasure of having Dr. Martha Galati, who is the chief of cardiology for University of Arizona, talk about preventative stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot that we can talk about. We won't talk about it this episode to prevent heart disease, but to your point, you talk about older adults taking a lot of medications. I don't know if we have a statistic, but a lot of falls are happening because of medications, right? Yes,
and we know that any time an individual is on 3 or more medications because of the drug-drug interactions, the side effects, oftentimes as we age, the chances of us being on blood thinners is greater. Therefore, we are at a higher risk of losing our balance and falling, and therefore getting injured. And of course, there are chronic conditions that lead to being on multiple medications is the culprit. So those are all preventable. As heart disease is, diabetes is preventable. Diabetes and diabetic neuropathy is another risk factor in slips and falls and fall-related injuries, as people lose sensation in their peripheries, in their feet, and their legs, or the stabbing, sharp pains that they experience. These are all factors that lead to slips and falls. And we have, as we shared last week on the show, September is the month where we recognize and raise awareness about falls prevention. So September has been proclaimed by the governor, Governor Ducey, as well as other mayors across the state as Falls Prevention Awareness Month. So this is a month when we talked about falls prevention being so important, but it's a 365 days a week, non-stop. We need to be vigilant and exercise prevention. So
perfect. No, I know we're coming up on a break, and In the second segment, we're going to hear a little bit more from Cole, but I want to just say this. We talk about fall prevention, and, we have the pleasure of having you, Babak, here with us. You're the Director of Healthy Aging for the Arizona Department of Health Services, and we know that if people are healthy and they're taking care of themselves, they're eating the right things, they're moving, because we are meant to move. We're not meant to be sedentary and sitting in chairs. I mean, let's face it, the latest I've heard is that, and I had a concierge doc here on the show talk about that sitting is the new smoking.
Yes.
So exercise, eating right, healthy aging, which you are accountable for the Department of Health Services, is one of the secret ingredients to preventing falls. We're being taken out by Bruce Springsteen. Thank you, James. We're down our first segment. Stick around. We're going to be right back to talk about fall prevention with Cole Marvin and Dr. Babak Nayeri. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Gary Kolb. I'm host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, insurance, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we will carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call, 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559.
Are you tired of your power bill going up year after year? Did you know with the changes voted in by the Corporation Commission in August, your APS electric bill will increase year after year? That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy. Solar Sandy can save your hard-earned money on a bill you're already paying too much on. Just think, you can save thousands on your electric bill and control the cost of your electricity and avoid unexpected rate hikes. You can also increase the value of your home and help the environment. And remember, there are zero upfront cost or fees. This rate increase will increase your power bill. That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy today. The best time is now. Call Ask Solar Sandy at 623-850-8229. That's 623-850-8229. Visit AskSolarSandy.com. That's AskSolarSandy.com.
The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer is doctor recommended and backed by more medical studies than any other thermometer. The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Get yours at local Club Warehouse or other fine retailers.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And I'm your host, Bob Roth. And if you're just tuning in, I've got Dr. Babak Nayeri and I've got Cole Marvin here in the studio with me. And we're talking about fall prevention. And we're also talking about healthy aging as well. And that's what we left off on the last segment. If you just missed the first segment, you can go up to our website at cypresshomecare.com, click on the media button, hit the drop down, and you'll catch a radio show button. Click on that. You'll catch this show, and you'll catch about 175 others that we've been bringing to you since 4.5 years ago. So I want to get back to that healthy aging piece because I think that's really, really an integral part for aging. And, you know, there's no better way to really take a look at it than looking at, you know, a community like Friendship Village. Friendship Village in Tempe is, you know, it's a great melting pot, if you would. It's a great, just condensed community, and you know, Cole's been there in the helm for over 10 years. You've been over at Friendship Village for how long altogether?
Since March of 2007, so 10 full years.
So 10 full years, and you are witnessing a change in the dynamics of what your community is looking for. Can you share that with our listening audience?
Absolutely. It's an interesting crossroads, really. I would say right now we're effectively serving 3 different generations. We still have some GI generation residents living there, more of the Spartan approach to retirement. You've got your silent generation, which is kind of right in between them, and then the boomers. And the boomers are coming in. They have a lot of expectations. They're willing to pay for services, but they want to have those options. And one area that I've seen a significant change in is what people's expectations are as it relates to the dining program. We've got 4 restaurants, a sports bar, and a cocktail lounge, and lots of different things to offer. But what you're serving in those venues, the focus has really shifted from what I'll call meat and potatoes to healthy offerings. Anything from kale to hummus to gluten-free offerings. People really want to eat healthy.
Low salt, too, I imagine.
Low salt is a huge part of what we're talking about on a regular basis.
So meat and potatoes was what you used to see. And that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but, I mean, that's what I got. When I went home, Mom put a piece of steak and a baked potato there. Yeah. And I put all kinds of butter in that.
Well, then we still have some meat and potatoes folks there, so we're trying to meet their needs, as well as boomers as young as 65 coming in. They want some, fresh fish, sushi. We're rolling sushi out. That's been well received. It's a lot of fun.
It's all about the food.
Absolutely.
It is all about the food. And,
What's that? We are what we eat?
We are what we eat. And I got to tell you, you also just opened up a sports bar.
Yeah.
A sports bar in a CCRC. I don't know of too many that have a sports bar. That's pretty cool. How many screens do you have up?
We've got 4 75-inch.
75?
Yeah, 75-inch TVs. And, at times for games, especially with the D-backs getting into the postseason.
Yeah, go D-backs.
Standing room only inside the sports bar. It's one of the most popular venues we have now.
I love it. So on NFL Sunday, what do you have, DirecTV bringing it all in?
We actually went with Cox Cable so that we could do the Pac-12.
All right.
That's a huge part of our residence.
So the Pac-12's on Saturday. So on Sunday, how many games do you have coming in?
2.
You got 2 games.
Yeah, we've got 2 streams. So
and while it's still new, I mean, are you getting a packed house?
We are. We can accommodate about 30, 35 people, and
I love it.
It's standing room only at times.
So if you're in Tempe and it is Saturday afternoon or Sunday, come on in. Pull yourself up, belly up to the bar, and get yourself a cold one, and you can watch the game.
Yes, sir.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, we're talking about healthy aging, but we're also talking about falls, and it's really important about falls. And we talked about medications, Babak, but there's other things that attribute to falls. Surfaces do,
loose rugs, flooring, the types of shoes, the footwear that we
footwear is a big deal.
Big deal. It is a multifactorial issue. Ironically, since slip and falls it's not considered a disease. It's not a primary diagnosis.
Right.
Therefore, it doesn't register on most people's radars until it happens to them. And I would like to share with the audience that it can happen to anybody, any one of us, regardless of age.
You talked about it last week.
Yes, I did. Regardless of age or physical condition. I have fallen twice. In the past 2.5 years, I've fallen twice. And, every time we fall, it increases our risk of falling again. And my having fallen had to do with not paying attention and being on the smartphone, so-called smartphone. It wasn't very smart, being on the smartphone, no pun intended. But I know we're going to touch on the digital age and how that affects our, the aging, healthy aging with any age. But, speaking of the sports bar, while you're having fun and we go up to the bar and watch the game, alcohol is another culprit when it comes to falling.
And mixing with medications.
Mixing it with medications.
You bet.
That's a bad mix. So if you want to play chemistry without being a chemist with your own health, please be mindful when you take alcohol with your medications. Most medications, you should not be taking alcohol.
And by the way, I want to make sure our listening audience understands this. Dr. Nayeri is not saying that people are washing down their medications with
Yes.
beer or wine or gin and tonic. What he's referring to is, most of our older adults are taking multiple medications each day. They're taking them in the morning, they're taking them around noon, and then they take them in the evening. And if you've taken your medications in the morning and around noon, and at 5 o'clock you haven't still taken your evening medications, and you imbibe alcohol, that mix, that's what you're talking about, is it could be a lethal mix.
Yes, thanks for expanding and clarifying that,
Yeah,
Bob. So medications are important. It's important that you speak with your providers regarding your medications that you're taking. Know what you're taking it for, and what the side effects are, what the do's and don'ts are. So if you're taking supplements, over-counter medications, you're taking herbs, as you said, Cole, more and more people are now into health and being fit, so they do take herbal medicines and nutritional supplements. Those all can interact with your prescribed medications, so do talk with your provider about that.
By the way, I just want to point out, and Dr. Nayeri has shared this with me, be mindful that those herbal medications that you're taking, those nutraceuticals that you're picking up at the health food store, are not overseen by the Food and Drug Administration. So there are some lethal dosages that you can take that, if they're interacted with something else, could be very hazardous.
Yes.
And I know that's what you're
Yes.
attributing it to.
Yes, indeed.
You talked about the digital piece, and I think we're finding more and more. I wrote a piece for Loving Life magazine as well as the Jewish News last month talking about digital detox, and the problem is that we have become a society that is so transfixed with our devices, and we sometimes are distracted very easily. And distracted driving is one that we hear about every single day. And we're talking about, for years, our generations have heard about DUIs and other medications that you may be taking that could impair your driving. But now it's distracted driving. I want to just make this one statement here as we close the second segment, is that these devices are leading not to the distractive driving, but distractive walking, distractive everything. I mean, you admitted your own self that you took one of your falls because you were on your device.
I did.
So I want to make an appeal to our listening audience. Be careful if you're using your device and you are walking at the same time. I mean, this too could happen to you.
Well, one of the biggest growing segments of technology users are the seniors. I mean, it's unbelievable to walk through the lobby at the Village or in through the cafe and see how many people have a smartphone, an iPad out, might be looking at YouTube, looking at Facebook, and it's not just the younger generation anymore. It's a big deal.
And where is the quality of life when we're so immersed with technology? When we want to reduce isolation and embrace relationship and connectivity.
It's balancing the pros and the cons.
And that's a good point. When we come back after the break, let's pick up on that because we need more engagement. It's halftime here at Health Futures. We're going to take a halftime break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
Cleanup and recovery from Hurricane Maria continues in Puerto Rico. Acting Homeland Security Secretary Elaine Duke says the mission will continue until operations in Puerto Rico are completely restored.
The President and I will not be fully satisfied, however, until every Puerto Rican is back home, the power is back on, clean water is freely available, schools and hospitals are fully open, and the Puerto Rican economy is working.
President Trump is promoting his tax reform proposal. The president tells the National Association of Manufacturers that the income tax process will be streamlined.
Under our framework, the vast majority of families will be able to file their taxes on a single sheet of paper.
President Trump has said he will make a decision on the fate of Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price later today. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average off by 8 points, the S&P gaining 6. I'm Ann Cates.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-461-4545. That's 800-461-4545. 800-461-4545. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
If you can get a signal on your smartphone, then you can listen live to Money Radio. Download our app for free and never miss a moment of the great advice.
Hi, I'm Gary Kolf. I'm host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, insurance, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we will carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call, 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559.
Attention Phoenix truck buyers. Today's full-size buyer needs versatility. They need a truck that's equally at home on the desert sand and on the streets of Phoenix. That's what separates the East Valley Nissan Titan from its competition. It's rugged and capable performing truck in off-road conditions, but provides a high-end driving experience for everyday on-road use as well. An East Valley Nissan Titan provides plenty of horses under the hood via standard V8 engine package, which also delivers high fuel efficiency rates. The East Valley Nissan Titan is better in every aspect at delivering everything you need at a price you can afford. What are you waiting for? Stop by East Valley Nissan, check out the completely redesigned Titan inside and out for the 2017 model. Test drive it for yourself, and you will see what all the fuss is about. Stop by the gorgeous East Valley Nissan dealership located conveniently off the 60 at Superstition Springs and online 24/7 at eastvalleynissan.com. To relieve muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at TheraWorksRelief.com.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. NVIDIA is adding Google's virtual assistant technology to its Shield 4K video streaming and gaming device, positioning it as a direct competitor to Apple TV. With Google Assistant, Shield users can use voice commands to do things on TVs like watch specific shows, fast forward, and ask Google to check its databases for information about what's on. Google will also offer Shield owners a 3-month free trial of its YouTube Red offering, which includes ad-free playback. The Wall Street Journal will stop publishing the European and Asian print editions of the newspaper over the next week as part of a shift to digital in an increasingly challenged print advertising market. Today marked the final print edition in Europe, with Asia's print publication ceasing late next week. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 3 points. The NASDAQ Composite is up 37. That's Your Money Now.
If only we were born knowing how to plan for life's big expenses. Brought to you by TIAA.
Saving is absolutely key. What happens if you want to buy a house? That can be a big chunk of change. Good thing we're thinking about it now. Inspection fees, closing costs, escrow. When I'm eyeing that mid-century modern, I want to strike while the iron's hot.
Whether you're looking to save, invest, or plan your retirement, let us help you start planning today at TIAA.org.
Stocks are soaring, and construction spending across America has been on the rise. If you've been waiting to build, the time is now. Whether you want to expand your business or you want to build a new garage, call General Steel today. Our metal buildings are custom designed for your needs. For example, a 40 by 60 is a great space for an auto shop or 3-car garage. And if you call General Steel today, it's on sale now for under $25,000. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-957-8335.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and we're on our third segment. If you're just tuning in, I got Dr. Babak Nayeri here in the studio with me, and I got Cole Marvin here in the studio. Cole Marvin is the executive director for an incredible CCRC. That is a continuing care retirement community. And Dr. Babak Nayeri, he is the director of healthy aging with the Arizona Department of Health Services. He's also a clinical associate professor at University of Arizona College of Medicine. And I want to just pick up where we left off. For our listening audience that was listening in, you can catch the first two segments up on cypresshomecare.com. Click on the media button, and then click on down, and you'll find the radio show button. You'll find about 175 episodes, and you'll find the first two segments that we just brought to you here at Money Radio Studios here in Scottsdale. So we were talking about these digital devices, this connectivity. And, you know, I did reference this piece that I wrote for the Love and Life newspaper that comes out on a monthly basis. I write a column called Aging Today, and you know I spoke about this, you know, how we can't live without our devices, and you know we find ourselves going to sleep, that's the last thing we do, and when we wake up, it's the first thing we do. And you know, social media, and I wrote this in this piece, is causing us to connect more with our devices and disconnect from each other. We, in a lot of ways, have lost all sense of socially accepted behavior using our smartphones as the scapegoat. Smartphones, and Dr. Nayeri brought this up, could be negatively affecting our sleep, and we are living to curate our life for the photo op instead of being present in the moment, and that is very disturbing. And then the last piece is we're less tolerant for boredom, which is usually the impetus for deep thinking and creativity. And I'm going to tell you that I used to find driving in the car with no radio on and just thinking about my day as an opportunity to really reflect on my day and really put together my thoughts for the next day and days ahead. So, I mean, we are such a connected society. And, I mean, I'm looking here at both of you guys. And how many times have you been at a restaurant and you look at this family that's next to you, and they're not even talking. They're all on their devices. How many times have you been in the grocery line and someone's talking on the phone and they're checking out at the same time? How disrespectful is that to that checkout person? You know, or they just have their head down, buried in their phone. I went to Newark Airport just over the summer, and my wife and I, if you've ever been to Newark Airport, the gates sit out on a pod, so you have to cross over on this bridge. And I pointed out to Susie, I said, do you see this? She says, see what? I said, see the sea of people walking towards us? Every single one of them has their head down.
Yep.
This is a challenge.
Which also poses as a risk factor for falling. Again, you know, we've seen these funny appearing clips on YouTube, and the people falling, stumbling, and falling into down the stairs, into holes,
into fountains.
Fountains. I mean, it appears funny, but I'm sure it's not funny to them, considering the type of injuries that they sustain. But you know, these types of things are eroding our social skills. As we talk about aging in place and independent living, you know, it really concerns me, Bob, and your audience, Cole. I'm sure Cole has a lot to contribute to this topic. You know, because you have different types of continuum of care residents in your facilities, especially people who are in 80s and 90s, and they are isolated more and more by living at home and not having any social connection.
It's and I couldn't agree more. I think almost like anything, in healthy moderation, everything can be wonderful. And I think that our residents are doing a nice job of balancing that. But at the same time, how helpful technology has been. I mean, we have folks that are living in our healthcare center, possibly bedbound, but they're able to use an iPad and FaceTime their son or daughter who knows who know where. You know, I mean, our residents are their children live all over the world,
right?
And so they're able to FaceTime and connect in a way that 10 years ago, you know, that was kind of fantasy land, and now it's actually happening. So I mean, there is some positives. Our residents, we make reservations for our Fireside. That's our fine dining restaurant. They actually use an open table app.
I love that
to make their reservations, and it gives them instant confirmation of what time their reservation is, and they like to have that peace of mind. Do I have a reservation or do I not? And they're really embracing it.
So in moderation is the
I think
key.
so.
It's great. So, but again, going back to how technology has prevented us from taking a step back, disconnecting, detaching from all the fast-paced things in life, so that we can be creative, so that we can rest. Rest is very important to our health too, and nobody rests anymore. Charles Dickinson used to walk 20 miles a day. If we can imagine the Victorian, outfit and the boots, and we don't do that anymore.
He wasn't listening to iTunes,
no,
and he wasn't looking at his device. And it's interesting. And I mentioned the fact that it definitely has an impact on sleep. And I've had the privilege of having Dr. Michael Bruce here on the show, and he's known as the sleep doc. Oprah gave him that moniker, but I mean, he talks about unplugging the TV, unplugging the phone. He's talking about unplugging it, an hour or two before you go to bed. I talked to a guy the other day, and he's given up on his devices to read, and he went old school, and he gets books, and he goes to sleep reading his books.
Sure.
I mean, because that's what we used to do. The devices, and especially with our children, I mean, with social media. If you're looking at your device and all of a sudden you get, pinged with a text, you see that Facebook and someone left you a message, it's happened to me, and I know it's happened to each and every one of you guys, where you had an intention to do something, and next thing you know, you got distracted. 45 minutes have passed, and it's just like, now why was I on this device in the first place? We really, really need to engage. And I want to pivot this conversation to something that is near and dear to Dr. Nayeri. It's near and dear to me, and I know it's near and dear to you, Cole. And I'm going to have you give a plug that you're doing this weekend down at your community. But, coming up, we have a couple events that are happening in October and November. We have the Alzheimer's Association Memory Walks. And Alzheimer's and dementia, the things I know about them, and I'm far from being a clinician, is the fact that we know that there are three vital things to be able to keep people where they're at. Now, you can't reverse dementia. You can't reverse Alzheimer's. But what you can do is delay onset. And the three things that I understand is, one, you need to take your medications in the right doses at the right time. Two, you need to eat your meals. And we're talking about when you eat your meals, socially engage. Be having a conversation with someone. So you're having a meal.
Social engagement is very crucial.
And then that third piece is complete social engagement. It is activities that keep the mind and keep you from having this onset happen at a much more rapid pace.
Perhaps when we come back, Bob, if we can touch more on what research shows in terms of
absolutely
brain health.
Absolutely.
Because I know Cole is going to be talking about
So we do. I mentioned the events. Sun City has the Alzheimer's Memory Walk on October 14th. And then the Phoenix market has theirs on November 11th. And I want everyone to definitely mark those dates down. If you want to find out more about it, go to alz.org, and you can learn more about the walks. And I want to give you just a quick opportunity, Cole, before we take our break.
Sure.
You got an event happening this weekend.
We do a lot of fundraising activities at the Village, and in particular, raising awareness for Alzheimer's. It affects a lot of our residents, maybe their husbands, wives, and ultimately it's a big deal. So we are doing our annual Alzheimer's Awareness Barbecue. It's a little known fact that the best slow-smoked barbecue in Tempe can be found at Friendship Village Tempe.
And you can learn more about this. You can call them at 480-831-5000. Again, 480-831-5000. Or go to friendshipvillageaz.com. And it's open up to the public, right?
It is. We're going to have slow-smoked brisket, turkey breast, pulled pork from 11 to 2. 16-hour smoke on the briskets. They're tender, and it's really good. And it's we'll have 200-300 people turn out for it. So $15 a person. It's a fundraiser.
Love it.
All the barbecue you can eat.
And my man James, my engineer, takes me out with Baba O'Reilly, not Babak O'Reilly, but Baba O'Reilly by The Who. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. I've got Cole Marvin from Friendship Village Tempe, and I got Dr. Babak Nayeri from Arizona Department of Health Services and a professor at University of Arizona Medical School. We'll be right back for our fourth segment.
Would it be okay if you could retire 10 years earlier by simply rearranging your investments? And would it be okay if you could rearrange your investments so that you could truly stop worrying about running out of money one day? Imagine a secure financial vehicle used inside or outside of an IRA that credits you with 50% of the market index increase annually without a cap, yet never takes a loss when the market falls, guaranteed. That's right. Meanwhile, this remarkable vehicle can also grow a guaranteed retirement income up from 5 to 9% for life, like a pension, all with zero management fees, ample liquidity, and full protection for your heirs. Call me today to learn more about the next generation of high IQ, low-cost, principal-protected retirement annuities. Get logical with your money.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. 480-902-3333. 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the claims-paying ability of the insurer, so compare with Steve. 480-902-3333. Call Steve now.
Are you tired of your power bill going up year after year? Did you know with the changes voted in by the Corporation Commission in August, your APS electric bill will increase year after year? That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy. Solar Sandy can save your hard-earned money on a bill you're already paying too much on. Just think, you can save thousands on your electric bill and control the cost of your electricity and avoid unexpected rate hikes. You can also increase the value of your home and help the environment. And remember, there are zero upfront cost or fees. This rate increase will increase your power bill. That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy today. The best time is now. Call Ask Solar Sandy at 623-850-8229. That's 623-850-8229. Visit AskSolarSandy.com. That's AskSolarSandy.com.
The most important meal, the most important month. Village Inn is celebrating National Breakfast Month with a BOGO free breakfast this Saturday at participating restaurants.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress Home Care Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. I'm your host, Bob Roth. And if you're just tuning in, we're in our fourth segment, and I've got Dr. Babak Nayeri here in the studio with me, and I got Cole Marvin in the studio, and we were talking about falls. We were talking about digital devices. And you know what's interesting? Just here at the break, we're sitting here on our devices, and we're talking about these really cool apps. I'm serious. I mean, we are plugged into these devices.
It's addictive.
It is addictive. And, you know, actually I was just sharing a couple apps. Cole just shared a re-listen app which you can hear any concert from any time in the past, and he says the quality's really good. And I got turned onto an app called Game Time app. And if you're a sports fan, concert showgoer, and you want to get tickets, you wait, and the last minute people that are looking to dump tickets, you can get them for a great price. So I'm not
with that.
No one paid me to give those give those testimonials, but there you go.
Complimentary endorsements.
There you go.
So hopefully, to piggyback on that topic, I would love to see an app that engages people in new and novel learning, as we concluded our last segment.
Sure.
There's been a lot of research. One of the research scientists here in town is Dr. John Denbor, who's a neuropsychologist.
Sure, I know John.
Has he been on your show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
smart brain aging.
Yes. So, the only way that we can prevent the shrinkage of the cortex in the brain is to learn new, novel things. So all these things about playing cards at the senior centers or doing crossword puzzles that in the past we thought that engages people and stimulates the brain activity. Well, the research shows that those are really not as effective as new novel learning. So that and being on the smartphones, using these cool addictive apps, that's not considered new novel learning.
It's not new novel learning, but I will tell you that Cole brought up a very good point. I mean, if we've got people in our community that are bedbound, that are challenged, that they can't really move, and many of them have a hard time talking because they may suffer from a stroke or dysphagia or whatever challenge that they're dealing with, it still can be learning.
Yes.
It really can be learning. I think what we're talking about, and we talked about it a lot in our second segment, was distracted. Just not distracted driving, but distracted walking, distracting whatever your intent to do. I mean, this is why a lot of companies have mandates about social media and devices. They want them to put them away. I'll share this with you all. For 2 years I had a chance to be a coach for high school girls lacrosse, and every time we were together, we had the girls, and I'm talking about my teammates, or my team consisted of 15 to 18-year-old girls. We had them checking their phones, and we put them all in a bag because it is a huge distraction.
It is. When just talking about food and memory and those types of things, there is a lot of interest out there. We do all types of events at the Village that bring people from the outside in, hopefully dipping their toe and getting a chance to experience the Village. We just had an event that we're holding on October 3rd that is based upon how your diet affects your brain power. And we have a gentleman named Dr. Rick Hall coming in to talk about what you eat and how that can have an absolute impact on your memory. And we have never seen an event sell out as quickly as this one did. 3 days, and it went so quickly. We established a second event, and it's sold out. So there's people out there that are interested in this, and it's important. People care.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. I have had the pleasure, and I consider him a very good friend, Dr. Marwan Sabah, who is over at the Barrow Neurological Institute. He has figured that out a while back. In 2012, he actually wrote a book called the Alzheimer's Prevention Cookbook with 100 recipes to boost brain health. And I will tell you, he wrote it with a guy by the name of Bo McMillan, who's a world-renowned chef. And like he would say, he didn't really come up with the ingredients. He told him what he needed to put into it, but it's really brain-healthy food. I mean, we're finding so much in terms of correlation that you really, truly are what you're eating.
Well, people want to stave it off as much as possible. They want to avoid, if there's anything they can do to prevent it, I think they're listening and ready.
So Alzheimer's disease and related dementia as part of aging is one of the all-time scariest diseases. More scary than cancer. So when we talk with people, Arizonans who are aging, everybody and their caregivers are worried about Alzheimer's, or one form or another of dementia. Alzheimer's being one of the most common forms of dementia. And you mentioned the book by Dr. Sabah and the nutritional aspects, the Mediterranean nutrition. Somebody that helped with writing that book and the research, who did not get mentioned, is Dr. Boris Schwartz, who is a naturopathic physician and also a nurse practitioner here in town, who is really very knowledgeable about nutrition and clinical nutrition, I should say. So that he contributed to that publication.
Well, you know what, I think at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And you need to seek knowledge. You need to get as much information as possible. Look, we only have one shot at this. And, we want to keep our brains healthy. We want to keep our bodies healthy. We need to keep moving. We need social engagement. As I wrap up...
We need rest, good night's sleep.
Exactly. We need rest. As I wrap up things, because we have less than a minute here, I want to just ask you, last week we plugged an event that happened on Friday evening.
Light Up the Night event.
And how did that go?
It went very well. We had hoped to have more attendance, but it was a very well attended or received gathering in partnership with City of Phoenix Police Department, Phoenix Fire Department, City Parks, and we had a number of celebrities show up. Dr. Art Mullen of Channel 3, Channel 5, medical correspondent, showed up as one of our speakers. Mrs. Arizona 2017, Mrs. New Mexico 2017, and many of the Mrs. Senior Arizona and New York even showed up. So It was wonderful. But I want to plug in azhealthyaging.com and also azstopfalls.org for more information.
Perfect. And Cole, any final statements, final comments you would like to add?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity to come out and talk.
Barbecue tomorrow.
Brisket.
16
hours.
You got it.
Well, have a falls-free weekend.
Have a falls-free weekend. Make it a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on next Friday.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
Hey, Money Radio listeners, this is Gary Kaufbaum. Make sure you tune in for my show, Investor's Edge. You'll get my take on the markets and the world and what to look out for tomorrow. Investor's Edge is one of Money Radio's longest-running shows, so don't miss it.
You can listen to Investor's Edge Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
KFN in Mesa, Phoenix. Well, with the market still settling, the Dow's up 14 points at 22,395. The S&P 500's up 8 at 2518. The Nasdaq's up 42 at 64.95. Gold is down $4 at $12.84 an ounce, and oil's down a penny at $51 a barrel.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin now.